has restored the full statutory right of the Benin monarch Oba Owore II, abolishing the new traditional councils in Edo South created by the last administration. He also backs the federal government gazette, which gave the ownership of the returned artifact to the Oba's palace, which was looted during the 1897 Benin massacre by the British colonial forces. Also, the state government is withdrawing the letter revoking the concession of the Oba Akinzua II Cultural Center issued by the last administration to be used as a motor park. These were contained in a statement released by the governor's chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, on Sunday. The statement further reads, "This administration is restoring the Oba Akinzua Center to a suitable condition for its original purpose." The statement added that Akpogolo respects the rights and privileges of the traditional ruler of the Benin Kingdom and pledges the support of his administration to ensure the monarch plays his role as a custodian of the rich cultural heritage of the Benin people. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery says it has reduced the price of its premium motor spirits from 990 naira per litre to 970 naira per litre. This is the amount marketers would buy the product from the refinery. In a statement released on Sunday, the Group Chief Branding and Communication Officer of the Dangote Group, Anthony Chijina, said the reduction was to appreciate Nigerians as the year ends. Chijina said the refinery will not compromise on the quality of its petroleum products while assuring Nigerians of the best quality products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. The Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria said that the landing cost of imported petrol is now 971 naira per litre. Recently, both independent and major marketers confirmed that the pump prices of petrol had started reducing in many parts of the country due to the competition that the deregulation of the downstream sector has caused. The spokesman, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chinedu Ukadike, said the agreement between Ipman and the Dangote refinery is gradually pushing down the price of PMS. Immediate past Southwest coordinator of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, Alao John, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's effort in improving education, particularly with the introduction of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund. However, Alao expressed concern about the tuition fee increment in Nigerian universities, citing examples of the University of Lagos and the University of Ibadan, which increased their tuition fees by 400% respectively. Alao believes that this increment will have setback on the struggles of Nigerian parents and students. He also stressed that the high tuition fees will limit access to education, especially for students from low-income backgrounds.
The University of Lagos increased tuition from 19,000 to 190,250 in 2023. That is about 400% increase. The University of Ibadan also increased their tuition by over 500% from 30,000 to 230,000. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, 40.1% of Nigerians live below the poverty line. With Mr. President's commitment to renewing the hope of Nigerian students and ensuring that every young Nigerian is equipped to explore his talent, we hope that more effort will be put in place to further reduce the struggles of Nigerian students.
He emphasized the need for collaborative efforts to fight for the right of Nigerian students.
Seek to be the answer to the struggle of students nationwide, irrespective of tribe, race, or religion. I believe in national unity. I believe in the power of oneness, and so I seek to build a new image for the organization called NAS.
The Minister of State for Agriculture, Aliyu Abdullahi, has emphasized the need for increased publicity and advocacy to highlight the critical role of the cooperative sector in Nigeria's national development. We have details in this report.
Speaking at the 6th National Cooperative Award Symposium and Exhibitions 2024, organized by the Cooperative Rating and Award Society of Nigeria (CRASEN), the minister called on stakeholders to promote the contributions of cooperatives to the country's economy. Represented by his personal assistant Jibril, the minister reiterated the ministry's earlier directive for the cooperative sector to aim at contributing 30% of Nigeria's gross domestic product within this decade. He urged cooperatives to strengthen their entrepreneurial effort and invest deliberately in ventures across the country. The minister described cooperatives as voluntary organizations formed by individuals united to meet shared economic, social and cultural aspiration through jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprises.
We all know the cooperative sector in Nigeria under-publicized, and high publicity and advocacy is therefore needed to appropriately project the contribution of the cooperative sector to national development by all well-meaning stakeholders. My ministry, being the chief regulator of cooperatives in Nigeria, hereby reiterates the decision taken some few years ago that the cooperative sector should rise up and attempt to contribute 30% of Nigeria's GDP within this decade by deliberately stepping up its entrepreneurship investment in ventures in the country.
The Federal Department of Cooperatives, he said, remains committed to its role in promoting, supervising and coordinating cooperative organizations at the federal level. However, he expressed concern over the relatively low number of societies, around 25,000, encoded in the Cooperative Data Analysis System (CODAS) nationwide, calling on societies to ensure their inclusion in the database to serve as a model for others. Abdullahi also called on state cooperative apex bodies to partner with state cooperative departments to fast-track the enumeration and encoding of societies into CODAS. He stressed that the system would help showcase the sector's contribution to GDP and enhance local and international visibility. The minister reaffirmed the administration's commitment to implementing policies and investment packages necessary for mainstreaming, revitalizing, and building the capacity of cooperatives. He encouraged societies to explore investments in areas such as agriculture, fisheries, poultry, tree crops, transportation, housing, estate development, and mining.
Being the chief regulator of cooperatives in Nigeria, hereby reiterates the decision taken some few years ago that the cooperative sector should rise up and attempt to contribute 30% of Nigeria's GDP within this decade by deliberately stepping up its entrepreneurship investment in ventures in the country. I make bold to state that this hosting of award ceremony is a unique and welcome development in this country.
That the Honorable Minister of State, distinguished Senator Dr. Ali Sabi Abdullahi is bringing on board. And there is need, we cannot do it alone. We need all the stakeholders in the ecosystem to key into this reform and reform program that the Honorable Minister is doing under the new Hope agenda. Like I said, I don't have much to do. I want to say this night is going to be a night that we are going to celebrate those that are special within the sector that have been contributing so much.
I want to charge us this evening as a representative of the Controller General of Nigeria Immigration Service. And this charge is very, very important. And this charge, if we imbibe this charge in running our cooperatives all over the Federation, our cooperatives will rise stronger. And the charge is very simple. Let us try as much as possible to avoid unnecessary interference in the running of our cooperatives.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. Farmers Association Kadarko appealed to both Nassau and Benue state governments to help secure the release of tea farmers killed in Kayana local government area of Nassau state. Details of these and more we come to you shortly. Just stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle with Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate a live update and comment, as you can easily scan our IGQR code. Operatives of the Joint Security Patrol Team, led by the Anambra State Police Command, have neutralized notorious suspected kidnapper along the Enugu-Ukwu Road. The operation, according to the State Police Command spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga, was carried out with local vigilante group who identified the suspect before he was chased and engaged in an exchange before he was neutralized. The Joint Security Patrol Team was said to have responded to a distress call of the planned attack by the gang members of the suspect before acting swiftly to the scene and engaged them, which led to some of the gang members escaping with bullet wounds. One AK-47 rifle, 2 magazines and 5 rounds of live ammunition were recovered from the suspect as manhunt for the fleeing suspect continue, according to the police. The Anambra Police Command urges residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities in their area to the nearest police station for prompt action. The Ruruma community in Kara local government area of Kaduna State has made an urgent appeal to the federal government to establish a military base in Kwasam to curb the relentless killings and abductions carried out by bandits in the region. According to the community, over 13 people have been killed and more than 200 abducted in just 4 months. They also disclosed that nearly R1 billion has been paid as ransom within this period. In a statement signed by International President Daniel Dalla Peace, the community recounted the abduction of a senior bank official for whom millions were reportedly paid as ransom. They emphasized that a military presence in the area is critical to restoring security and enabling displaced residents to help out. Dalla noted that Kwasam, the proposed location for a military formation, is strategically positioned to serve Ruruma and surrounding communities, which have suffered immense losses due to the activities of bandits. He added that neighboring communities such as Faganrawa, Kibi, Kusheka, Fadun, Ruruma and others have also been heavily affected by kidnappings and killings, forcing many residents to flee to safer areas. The community lamented the devastating impact on local farmers, who make up 99.9% of the population. Farmers under the auspices of United Farmers Association Kadarko has appealed to both Nasarawa and Benue state governments to help secure the release of 42 corpses of tea farmers killed in Kaina local government area of Nasarawa state, to enable families bury them before 1st of December 2024. Our correspondent Gabriel Odia sent in this report.
The 42 victims, mostly tea farmers, who had their homes destroyed and killed, were allegedly done by a Lagwa militia in Kiana local government area of Nasarawa state over land disputes 5 months ago, and their corpses taken away as all efforts to get the corpses proved abortive. While President United Farmers Association Kadako UFAC Chief Dinen Usak disclosed that the corpses are in custody of the traditional ruler of Osana in Kiana local government area, he called in Governor Abdullahi Sule and his Benue counterpart Ayasin Thalia to prevail him to release the remains of the farmers for burial. Speaking to newsmen at Yeliwata, a border town between Nasarawa and Benue State, other grieved farmers described the attack as an act of genocide against the Tiv people resident in Kiana local government area, an act that must be stopped.
We have been calling. We follow every responsible government agency institution, the police, the DSS, the civil defense, the Office of the Attorney General of both Benue State and Nasarawa State, the governor himself, the emir of Lafia, the Totif of Benue State are all informed. The President General of Zoti will all reach to appeal to the government of Nasarawa State to recover this crop and give to us so that they will bury.
I am appealing to the governor of Benue State and Nasarawa State on behalf of Team Nation to hear, look at how we have been massacred in Kiana local government. In a government, local government headquarters, no refuge, no intervention. Give us cup for us to be buried according to our own tradition. You said it, no. We are peaceful people who wouldn't want problem. The government should intervene for our own security.
Enough is enough. Because these people are supposed not to treat us in this way. If not, person like me, my main cousin was killed in that, and up to now I've not seen his corpse. Look at how our people who were innocent in Kiana were wiped away, and nobody has come out to tell us why. And even for them to identify those corpses so that we cannot bury our people, that has not been done.
Meanwhile, the farmers and their families, most of whom are displaced and living in IDP camps, are appealing for government's intervention, stating that the attack on tea farmers started since 2011. Had government intervened, it would not have led to the scale of destruction against people who have lived for over 200 years.
My lead problem is the grabbing of farmland in Giza. I'm from Madi community. All the land that my people were farming, it has taken away from Sangali Giza and handed over to many people. I don't know them. Up till now, I'm still the IDP.
Please, we are appealing to the two governments, Nasarawa and Benue State. Let them come to our aid and get this corpse before December 1st. At least we will make the burial, waiting for the Xmas celebration. Thank you all.
Government doesn't come in to rescue. I'm convinced that they will not stop until government intervention is seen.
It remains to be seen if both the government of Nasarawa State and that of Benue State will weigh in to ensure the 42 corpses are released anytime soon for burial.
An armed group from the southeast have blamed the killings in the southeast to the arrested Finland-based Simon Ekpa. The group made this known in an online video which, according to them, was shot at the border town between Imo and Anambra State. According to the leader of the group, he initially spoke on their local Igbo dialect before speaking in English. Said the arrested Simon Ekpa will pay for the blood of those killed in the southeast, as they are known for peace. Meanwhile, the former chairman of the Umaya Non-Traditional Rulers Council in Abia State, Eze Philip Ajomiwe, has expressed skepticism about the recent arrest of Finland-based pro-Biafra activist Simon Ekpa as a solution to the insecurity plaguing the southeast region. The monarch, speaking exclusively with newsmen, argued that the arrest could worsen tensions already heightened by the continued detention of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. According to him, the immediate and unconditional release of Kanu and not the arrest of more Biafra agitators remains the panacea to the rising tension and insecurity in the southeast. This is as the Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center has urged the federal government to initiate constructive dialogues with community and youth leaders in the southeast with a view to addressing claims of marginalization through policies promoting equitable representation. The monarch said the arrest of Ekpa won't solve insecurity in the southeast, while also stating that it will rather increase it. Meanwhile, the executive director of ROLAC, Okechukwu Ngwama, in a statement said Ekpa's arrest has brought to the fore the pressing insecurity issues in the southeast, calling for urgent actions to address all issues leading to insecurity in the zone. Food security is important to commercial farming because it can help with economic growth, job creation and poverty reduction. Food security can also help improve health and healthcare and increase global stability and security. Galaxy TV Bosa Nyakusak has details in this report.
Ensuring food security has become an issue of key importance to every nation with different degrees of economic development. While the agricultural sector plays a strategic role in improving food availability, the greatest problems with maintaining food security are mostly seen in developing countries with high share of agriculture in their gross domestic product (GDP), adverse condition in during agricultural production, and deficient infrastructure. Based on research results, desirable and tailored strategies for food security improvement is getting improved seedlings.
We're piloting with this, so we're trying out the product itself to see how it goes, what we need to do, how we need to improve, where we need to improve on. And from what we're seeing generally, we're seeing a lot of progress, we're seeing a lot of efficiency to how this product is. So from preliminary things we've seen, we noticed around it's resistant to pests, stem borers and some other issues that we usually have with maize agronomy at early period of growing crops, right?
Farmers say promoting investment in agricultural infrastructure and extension service, especially getting improved seedlings, has improved their harvest as they make double harvest.
The difference is clear. The tiller during germination has good germination and sharp and faster growth than other maize. And in terms of yield, it's good than other maize other variety that we are planting in the previous years.
The difference is, like if you plant 1 hectare in other seeds, we used to get like among 18 to 20, but this one we used to have like 25 to 30. This seed, tiller seed, basically is very good. It's quite enough to plant.
Farmers appear to be key drivers of improving both food availability and food access. If supported, especially with improved seedlings, they can provide permanent solutions to food security and end hunger problems in a unique way.
Especially with what we're getting, it's going to give a lot of ripple effects of some of the very good things we've seen with these pilots, right? With some of these tests that we're running across board. So it gives assurance to a lot of yield. It gives assurances to efficiency. Your maize will not be attacked at the farm. Your yield would be guaranteed at the end of the day, right? So you don't run the risks, or it reduces the risks of starting something good and losing it just with some few instances of climatic weather conditions.
And now move to Tracking the Week.
Welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, clarified that the proposed tax reform bill before the National Assembly are not aimed at targeting or undermining any region. Speaking at an interactive session organized by House of Representatives, Oyedele stated that the reform aimed at enhancing efficiency and increase revenue for states based on consumption patterns. The bills transmitted by President Bola Tinubu in September included the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, the Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. These bills seek to update tax laws, streamline administration, and create new legal framework for taxation in the country. However, state governors, particularly the Northern Governors Forum, have opposed the derivation-based VAT distribution model proposed in the reform. President Tinubu rejected calls for their withdrawal, emphasizing the need for reform. Oyedele explained that the current VAT Act revenue is allocated 15% to the federal government, 50% to state government in the FCT, and 35% to local governments. He assured stakeholders that the proposals are designed to benefit all regions equitably. Also on Monday, former President Olusegun Obasanjo said Western liberal democracy is not working for the country, stating that votes don't count in Nigeria and unless things change, he won't vote again. Obasanjo made this known in his remarks at the 2024 Youth Governance Dialogue organized by the Youth Developmental Center at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Speaking during the interactive session with youth, the former president stated that for youth to change the narrative, they must be positively instructive. He said no visible development has been recorded in the country, just as he also berated successive government after his tenure for alleged poor handling of the power sector. Also speaking at the event, Senior Program Development Officer, Youth Development Center, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, noted that Youth Governance Dialogue is a platform for young minds to engage Obasanjo on issues in Africa, including receiving mentorship on how to solve these problems. On Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu wrote to the Nigerian Senate and House of Representatives seeking approval of a fresh $2.2 billion as a new external borrowing plan to the 2024 Appropriation Act. The President's request was read by President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. If approved, the loan will be used to part finance the budget deficit of 9.7 trillion naira for 2024 budget. Correspondent Gulujo reports that President Tinubu also transmitted medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper MTEF FSB 2025 to 2027 to the Parliament for consideration and approval. Also forwarded was the National Social Investment Program Establishment Amendment Bill to make the social register the primary tool for implementation of the federal government's social welfare programs. President Tinubu also sought confirmation of 3 nominees as commissioners for Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Also on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu declared that development of northern Nigeria remains fundamental to the nation's prosperity. Accordingly, the president unveiled a comprehensive youth development strategy spanning multiple key sectors to drive Nigeria's economic transformation. Speaking during a stakeholders roundtable on Northern Youth Development organized by Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in Abuja, President Tinubu, who was represented by his Deputy Vice President Kashim Shettima, invoked the legacy of the late Sardauna of Sokoto and former Premier of Northern Nigeria. Earlier, former Governor of Niger State and Chairman of the Foundation's Board of Trustees, Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu, noted that the event marked the Foundation's 15th anniversary. Also, Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar II, emphasized the critical role of youth education in national development, saying the youth are the foundation of any development Nigeria envisages. On Wednesday, the Nigerian Senate sacked Danladi Kumar as the chairman of Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT). The lawmakers, after a closed-door session, reconvened and invoked Section 157, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to officially remove Umar as the CCT boss, citing allegations of misconduct. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reported that the Senate held that it had become imperative to remove him because his actions were unbecoming and this level of gross misconduct no longer acceptable. Umar's removal will now pave the way for the official assumption of Abdullahi Bello as the new substantive chairman of the tribunal. 84 senators had signed in favor of his removal following deliberation in a motion by leader of the Senate, Okpayemi Bamidele. The motion was adopted by the upper legislative chamber after it was put to a voice vote by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Still on Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu approved the dissolution of Governing Council of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Awka, Anambra State, and the removal of Professor Bernard Ifeanyi Odo, the new Vice-Chancellor, Andres Mire former Nwokike, the registrar. The council, led by Ambassador Greg Zumba Mbadiwe, included 5 of the members: Afiz Oladejo, Augustine Oyedibelu, and engineer Amiloran Osao, and retired General Funsho Oyeneyi. The sacking of the governing council and officials followed reports that the council illegally appointed an unqualified vice-chancellor without following due process. After the controversial appointment, the federal government stepped in to address tensions between the university senate and the governing council of the 33-year-old institution. Bayo Ononuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy, in a statement said that the government expressed concern over the council's apparent disregard for the university's governing laws in its selection process. In the same vein, Tinubu also approved the removal of engineer Oyeku Mohammed Salami as the pro-chancellor and chairman of the governing council of the Federal University of Health Sciences in Otukpo, Benue State. Despite the Federal Ministry of Education's call for unlawful suspension to be revoked, engineer Salami refused to comply. Instead, he resorted to abusive and threatening behavior towards the ministry's directors, including the permanent secretary. On Thursday, the Senate approved President Bola Tinubu's loan request of $2.2 billion to partially finance the 9.7 trillion naira budget deficit of the 2024 fiscal year. The approval followed the presentation of a report by the Chairman Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, Aliyu Wamako, during plenary. Presiding over the session, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barau commended the committee for swift action and thorough examination of the loan request. Likewise, the House of Representatives approved President Bola Tinubu's request for external borrowings amounting to 1.77 trillion naira as outlined in the 2024 Appropriation Act. The loan will be raised through Eurobonds and other sources. The approval followed the presentation of a report by Honorable Abubakar Nalaraba, Chairman of House Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management, during plenary. The motion was passed under the presiding authority of Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu. In a separate session, the House also advanced the bill to amend the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja Act, passing it through the second reading. Still on Thursday, Finnish Nigerian separatist leader Simon Ekpa was arrested in Finland alongside 4 others on suspicion of terror-related activities, including incitement to violence and terrorism financing. According to local publication, Ekpa was remanded in custody by the Paijet Hamid District Court on charges of public incitement to commit a crime with terrorist intent. The publication reported that the Finnish Central Criminal Police confirmed the arrest in a statement, noting that other suspects were apprehended for allegedly financing terrorist activities. Ekpa is accused of coordinating violent actions against civilians and authorities in Nigeria's southeast region from Finland, using social media platforms to further his agenda. This is not the first time Ekpa has encountered Finnish authorities. In 2023, he was briefly detained on allegation of fundraising fraud. Ekpa also gained notoriety for his separatist rhetoric, particularly his calls to disrupt Nigerian elections. In 2023, he declared in a widely circulated social media video, "No elections will be held. Nigerian election will not be allowed in Biafran territory." Finnish police stated that international cooperation had been crucial to the ongoing investigation, with hearing for the suspect scheduled for Thursday. On Friday, President Bola Tinubu stated his administration's renewed focus in driving international and local investment into livestock sector of the agricultural value chain will end the crisis of farmer-head clashes, eradicate hunger and poverty in Nigeria, as well as promote economic prosperity. President Tinubu said this in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at the signing of a letter of intent between the Nigerian government and the JBSSA, one of the top 3 largest meat processing companies globally. The Nigerian leader called on the company to see the considerable potential in what he called the $2.5 billion livestock investment opportunities in Nigeria, especially with its huge population, and tap into it, giving JBSSA's global recognized expertise in the area of guaranteeing food security. In his remarks, Minister of Livestock Development Idi Mukutara, who led the delegation, reported to the President that the team embarked on guided, extended and intensive tours of companies on the scale of the global reach, the integrated nature of the operation, as well as the deployment of advanced technology. He added that during interactions with various companies, JBSSA was chosen being the second largest meat processing company in the world, with the capacity to process 33,000 cattle daily and over 8 million birds daily, using advanced zero-waste practices. The company employs over 200,000 people across its subsidiaries in more than 50 countries in the world, including the United States, Canada, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, among others. Lastly, on Friday, the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, announced that its Awhada-Yenigua 132 kV line, which is currently under repair due to previous vandalism, has again been attacked by vandals. According to the General Manager, Public Affairs of the company in Didimba, the attack, which affected hours 29 to 31, was as a result of the theft of approximately 1/3 of the conductor. According to her, a team of TCN engineers led by Engineer Emmanuel Akpa, General Manager of Port Harcourt region, had conducted an inspection of the site. The statement said preliminary findings indicated that the incident occurred at night, and in an attempt to prevent further theft while repair arrangements are being made, local security had been engaged at Ulai Kata in our other East Local Government area to secure the site until repairs are completed. It additionally said the line will be energized from the other end as a preventative measure as efforts to replace the stolen 250 mm conductor are currently underway. TCN also said despite challenges posed by difficult terrain and flooding, the restringing of the Awhada-Yenigua 132 kV line is approximately 85% complete. The company said its engineers to avoid disruption of bulk power supply. And that's it on Track in the Week.
And I'll move over to the foreign desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. More than 80 people have been killed in renewed sectarian violence in northwest Pakistan, officials say. Another 156 are said to have been wounded in 3 days of fighting in the tribal district of Kuram near the Afghan border. The violence began on Thursday when gunmen attacked convoys of Shia Muslims traveling through the area under police escort. More than 40 died in that incident, which triggered revenge attacks. Shia and Sunni Muslims have engaged in tribal and sectarian rivalries over land dispute for decades. On Sunday, a local administration official told newsmen the clashes and convoy attacks on November 21, 22 and 23 have resulted in 82 fatalities and 156 injuries. Speaking on condition of anonymity, he said that 16 of the dead were Sunni and 66 belonged to Shia community. Those killed in Thursday's attack on convoy included women and children. Passenger Saida Banu described to newsmen how she feared she would be killed as she hid under the car seat with her children. Hundreds of residents fled amid escalating violence Friday and on Saturday. It comes after dozens of people died in attacks over the past few months, prompting calls for a ceasefire from a tribal council. On Saturday, provincial officials began talks with both Shire and Sunni community leaders. A security official in the provincial capital, Peshawar, told newsmen that the negotiators' helicopters had come under fire as it arrived in the region. War-stricken Sudan is in danger of becoming another failed state because civil society is disintegrating amid the proliferation of armed groups, the head of a leading international aid agency told newsmen. As well as two main warring parties in Sudan, the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, there are many smaller ethnic armies looting and going berserk on civilians, Jan Egeland, head of the Norwegian Refugee Council (NRC), said. The parties are tearing down their own houses. They are massacring their own people, he said. For 19 months, there had been a brutal power struggle between the army and the RSF that has forced over 10 million people to flee their homes and pushed the country to the brink of starvation. All that I saw confirms that this is indeed the biggest humanitarian emergency on our watch, the biggest hunger crisis, the biggest displacement crisis, Egeland said, following a trip to Sudan. In September, the World Health Organization said starvation in Sudan is almost everywhere. Soup kitchens have been forced to close due to being underfunded. Egeland said the lack of humanitarian response meant remaining sources of aid are simply delaying death instead of preventing them. Most of Sudan is starving. It's starving, he said, adding that starvation has been used as a method of warfare. Some food security specialists feared that as many as 2.5 million people could die from hunger by the end of this year. A court in South Korea has found the man guilty of trying to avoid mandatory military service by deliberately gaining weight, like a media report. The 26-year-old began binge eating before his physical examination for a draft, a judge in the capital Seoul said. He was categorized as obese, allowing him to serve a non-combat role at a government agency. The defendant received a 1-year suspended sentence. A friend who devised a special regimen that doubled his daily food intake got 6 months of suspended sentence, the Korean Herald newspaper reports. All able-bodied men in the South Korea over the age of 18 must serve in the army for at least 18 months. According to the Korean Herald, the defendant was assessed as fit for combat duty during an initial physical exam. But at the final examination last year, he weighed in at over 102 kilograms, making him heavily obese. The man who recommended binge dieting had denied the charges of aiding and abetting, saying he never believed his friend went through with it, the newspaper added. Still on the international scene, Donald Trump has nominated long-term ally Brooke Warrens for Secretary of Agriculture, completing his cabinet roster. He made the announcement late Saturday, tapping the head of MAGA-backed think tank, the American Force Policy Institute, for the job. As the next Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke will spearhead the effort to protect American farmers who are truly the backbone of our country, Trump said in a statement. Our nomination marks the end of a whirlwind and sometimes dramatic spree of nominees to lead executive agencies. Rawlings has been a top Trump ally for many years as the co-founder and president of the American Force Policy Institute, a pro-Trump right-wing think tank. A former White House aide during the president-elect's first administration, she served as director of the Office of American Innovation and acting director of the Domestic Policy Council. Having grown up on a farm, Rawlings was involved early with Future Farmers of America, in addition to 4-H, a nationwide agricultural club. She graduated from Texas A&M University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Agriculture Development and later worked as a lawyer. If confirmed by the Senate, she would oversee farm subsidies, federal nutrition programs, meat inspection, and the oversight of the country's farm, food, and forestry industries. The assisted dying bill has been defended by Work and Pension Secretary Liz Kendall, saying it was about the right to choose. She refused to criticize colleagues who are against the bill, including Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood, who wrote to her constituent this weekend saying the proposed change would create a slippery slope to death on demand. Kendall told Sunday with Laura Kunzenberg She believed the bill would give people power, choice and control over their own death. The bill, which would allow some terminally ill people to have a medically assisted death, is to be debated by MPs on Friday. Speaking on Sunday, Kendall said, "I think you should have the right to choose. The point is not that this is for everybody." Kendall, who is a long-time advocate of assisted dying, called the debate on the bill part of a bigger national discussion as more people have longer death. Our comments came as 29 faith leaders representing Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus and Sikhs signed an open letter warning the terminally ill adults end-of-life bill could lead to people being pressured into ending their life to avoid burdening families or the NHS. Lastly, on the international scene, dozens of flood warnings and alerts remain in place across England on Sunday as disruption from Storm Bert continues in many parts of the UK. A man in his 60s died on Saturday after a tree hit his car near Winchester, while a number of homes were flooded in counties Down and Tyrone in Northern Ireland. Yellow warnings for wind and rain are in place for western parts of Scotland and Wales, southeast England and Northern Ireland on Sunday. Meanwhile, there were 81 flood warnings in place across England, Wales and Scotland on Sunday morning. As at 8 a.m. GMT, there were 56 flood warnings in place in England, 36 in Wales and 4 in Scotland. There were also 169 flood alerts in place in England, 36 in Wales and 6 in Scotland. Southwest England as well as Wales are expected to be the worst affected by flooding. There are multiple flood warnings in place for waterways such as the River Tyne in Devon, the River Frome in Dorset and the Rochdale Canal in West Yorkshire. Storm Bert has caused roads and homes to flood and led to power cuts. Around 26,000 properties are without power across the UK, according to Power Outage, a data aggregator. West Midland Fire Service said that a person had been rescued from a car stranded in floodwater in Walsall on Sunday morning. And that's it from the international scene.
Now for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect to us on X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IGQR code. And that's all we have on Galaxy Primetime News. Thank you so much for being a part of the news. My name is Nenwa Ngimazaka. Goodbye.